So if I'm not mistaken, this should be the very first problem on your handout that says explain what the slope represents in each situation. No, you're on the back side, sweetheart. Turn it over. Yep, there you go. All right. So what this is asking you to do, and yes, you will have the opportunity to have a problem that's just like this on the retake tomorrow. Okay. It's asking you, what does the slope represent? First thing we need to do is we need to figure out what the heck the slope is in the first place. You're absolutely right. So there's a couple different ways to think about it. Okay, I like what Neil said about, and they've actually already picked the 2 points for you in this case. But if they didn't, it's no big deal. Just pick 2 points where it hits in a corner. I like how Jalen used that wording rise over run. And I also like how, Neil, we put that all together. That's a really good answer. So I picked 2 points. I'm just going to draw, like Neil said, kind of my little right triangle right there. I'm going to figure out my rise. I'm going to figure out my run. The other way we've said it is change in y over change in x. Now this is, what I'm getting ready to do is something wrong. I repeat, what am I getting ready to do? Something wrong that a ton of you guys did on your quiz. You did not pay attention to the scales when you were finding the slope of your graph. Let me show you what I mean. All right. So again, I'm getting ready to do the wrong thing, but it's something that almost every single one of you guys did when you took this quiz. So I'm going to count. I'm going to do my rise first because I know that my rise or my change in y goes on top. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then 7 goes on top. And then I'm going to count my run as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 over 7 simplifies to a 1. Somebody tell me what I just did incorrectly, because that is not 7 over 7.
1.
Thank you. I just heard the correct answer. Look at this scale right here, guys. Those little dash marks don't mean 1. And I'm telling you, there is not a soul in this room that got that correct on the quiz. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention now. I told you, math people, I'm convinced we hate you children. We go out of our way to try to mess with you. This is one of our favorite ways to do it. We tell you, all you got to do is count to find the slope, and then we mess around with the scale. So this rise over run, now each one of these across the bottom does represent 1, because I can tell it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But from the top to the bottom, it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so Helena was absolutely right. I'm sorry, Delana was absolutely right. I was looking at you. So it's my rate of change is not 7 over 7. It's 70 over 7. So I shouldn't have gotten 1. I should have gotten a 10. Exactly. Okay, that's oldest trick in the books. How is it 70? Look at this. Look at the scale right here, baby. Each one goes. It's going up by 10. It's not going up by 1.
I still don't get 100. Oh.
So, well, no, each little interval represents an increase, because look, you can tell it's going up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So each little one, each little vertical scale, instead of being worth 1, it's worth 10, exactly. So when I counted 7 here, it was really 70, not 7. And I'm telling you again, every single one of you people missed this on the quiz. So please don't break my heart and do it again tomorrow. Okay? So the rise over run in this case was 7 over 70. Now, the question, this is another thing some of you guys did. The question isn't asking us what's the slope. It says, what does the slope represent in this situation? So a bunch of y'all just put the rate of change or the slope and you called it a day. You didn't write an explanation. Okay, what this is, and we have to look at the graph to kind of see if we can figure out what, based on the labels, what's going on. So what units are along my x-axis? What does it tell me it's measured in? Minutes. Along the x-axis. And then distance in feet along the y-axis. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways we could... Does it tell you exactly what this graph represents at the top? What does it say?
Explain what the slope represents in the situation.
Okay, so distance ascended. Do we all know what ascended means? Yeah. Going up. Okay, so the distance a mountain climber is going up. So what you really need to say to truly answer this question is that, so if your rate of change, I'm gonna wait for you guys. 70 over 7 simplifies to 10 over 1. So that really means that he goes up 10 feet every 1 minute. So what does that truly represent? It represents the fact that he's going up 10 feet every 1 minute. Honestly, our copy machines are just junk. It's not really the printer's issue, it's our copy machines. So tomorrow, when it says, what does the slope represent? A, you better pay attention to the scale. B, you make sure you actually answer the question, because that is something a bunch of you guys did not do. So this is really representing the mountain climber goes up 10 feet every 1 second, because he's going up 70 over 7, which is the six.
How does he go 10 feet for 1 second?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said minutes. My fault, y'all. Yeah, 10 feet per minute. Yeah, that would be awfully darn fast, wouldn't it? So now flip over to the first table on your paper. And you guys know how to do this. This is pretty old hat for you. I had a great question where somebody asked again, is it your change in Y that goes on the top, or is it your change in X? You guys know it's your change in your Y that's going to go on top. So that's what I'm going to figure out first. Okay, so I'm going to look and see what is happening to my Y values. From 50 to 10, what just happened? What did I just do, Luna? It went down 40. That's another thing some of you guys did. If it was decreasing, all right, so this was the other thing some of you guys did. This is a decrease of 40, so it's a negative 40. Some of you guys were just making it a positive number, okay, and that's not the case. So our change in Y is a negative 40. How do I figure out my change in X from negative 10 to negative 2? What's going on there?
It's adding.
It's actually going up, exactly. So my rate of so my change there is 8. Okay, so my Y values are going down by 40. My X values are increasing by 8. So it's negative 40 over 8. Tomorrow, I'm not going to really care because the directions don't explicitly say you have to do it as a unit rate, you have to simplify, whatever. But I would take, of course, negative 5 as a correct answer. I would take negative 5 over 1. Any of those would be fine. And for these table problems, yeah, because the directions don't really explicitly say how you need to describe the rate of change.
What if it's simplified?
So it won't say simplify. I'll just go ahead and tell you that part right now, tomorrow, so you can just leave it as is. Do we feel a little bit better now about, like, yeah, I figured that all you guys needed was a little.
Each line.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so Nauman asked another good question where he asked, do we need to go all the way down? Well, because these are going to be a constant rate of change, you really only have to do 2 numbers. Because if I look here, from 10 up to negative 20, that would be down 30. From negative 2 up to 4, that would be a 6. So either way, negative 30 over 6 simplifies to a negative 5. The same way that negative 40 over 8 that we got before is a negative 5. So it really doesn't matter which pair of points you use. You should still get the same answer every time. Oh, I know there is one more type I want to do for you guys.
Or you can do the bottom one.
Okay, so guys, number 1 on the back. I'm going to wait for you 1 second. Okay, number 1 on the back is exactly the same type of problem you guys just did. They just give you 2 points instead of putting it in a table. So you still do change in Y over change in X. So let me look from one Y to the other Y. I went from a negative 4 up to a 5. So how much did that change?
9.
Very good. And is it a positive 9 or a negative 9? Regular 9, positive. And then my X changed from a negative 5 to a negative 4. So what kind of a change is that? What kind of one?
Positive.
It's a positive one because you're actually getting less negative. Yep. So negative 5 going up to a negative 4, that's actually going up by 1. So same thing, change in Y over change in X. 9 over 1, you could simplify it to a 9. I don't care, as long as you got it right. So these, finding the slope from 2 points, they're exactly like the ones you already know how to do. They just look, they're just not in a table. It's the only difference. You still got to figure out how much are your y's changing, how much are your x's changing, and then just putting your y's on top of your x's. And that's it.